y'all. Welcome to your Homegirl podcast, the show where we talk all things real estate and real life. I'm Katie, your homegirl in title, and each week I sit down with incredible female real estate agents and lenders to talk about how they're building businesses, balancing life, and their secrets to success. So without further ado, let's dive in. Hey y'all, I am super excited for my beautiful guest today. We connected in the Moms in Real Estate Facebook group, and she is now the national lending partner for the group, or I guess more so West Coast, right?
We're still on the West Coast, but we can help anywhere.
Perfect. So I have Dayna Standen here. She is the business development manager for Jessica Cron. You've both been in the business for over 10 years and have worked together for 7 of them. Specialize in non-conforming loan products and your ability to generate all of your business through personal connection, referrals, and top-tier communication, which we're big fans of around here. So I love that.
We're super proud of that. We have gotten almost all of our business from personal connections, realtor partners, and referrals. And that's just something we take so much pride in.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we hear a lot in the Moms in Real Estate group is they hate feeling salesy. So when you can have that genuine approach to generating referrals in a way that doesn't feel salesy and feels natural, I mean, that's huge. How do you guys think you've been able to do that?
I think it's a girl power thing. Honestly, the mortgage industry used to be so male dominated, and now getting these powerhouse women in the group, you can kind of get that almost like nurturing, mothering feeling while still being educated by someone that knows products and knows guidelines and, can kind of do all of that in one space. So I feel like it's definitely a more nurturing approach that we have.
Yeah. So how did you get your start in the real estate space to begin with 10 years ago? Have you always been on the lending side?
Yeah, so I actually was working at a restaurant, and an owner of a mortgage company approached me looking for a front desk person. And, I kind of wanted to get out of, working late nights and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'll do a 9 to 5. And so I started at the front desk. And then this was way back in the day when we were doing paper files. And so I was scanning in documents. And so just kind of familiarizing myself with, the physical papers that were required in order to get a loan. And I learned from there, and I moved into like a processing assistant. And then a couple years later, I got my license, and I was a loan officer assistant for a long time. And then that's when I came across Jessica, and we've been working together ever since. So I've done a little bit of everything, which I think is a really good way to, to be well-rounded, because I do a lot of the business development side. I'm out meeting agents and things like that, but I also am happy anytime to jump in and help with any kind of loan questions, talking to clients, things like that. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I feel like it's much more common to see a team on the real estate side as the agent versus on the lending side. To me, it seems a little less common. So how do you guys balance your roles in working together? What does that look like?
Well, Jess is the head. She's the senior loan officer. So she does every client intro. She does phone applications, things like that. She goes over all the rates and things like that. We do have Michelle in our team. She does a lot of application and pre-contract things. And then Kathy is our back-end queen, and she takes the file from contract to close. And so there are a lot of people on our team. We do send out an introduction email to all of the agents and all of the clients, just letting them know, hey, this is who's on our team. This is how we're going to work together. This is, if this person reaches out to you, like they're with us. So just, just starting off with that clear communication, because we are a big team. But I think that's what makes us special. There's someone always available, nights, weekends. Somebody's always working. So I love that about our team.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think people don't even necessarily realize just how many people behind the scenes sometimes are involved to get their file from start to finish smoothly. But
Absolutely. I was
it's a lot.
yesterday, and she was like, how many are you? How many of them are you? Like, I told him, I said, we're all on the same team. We're all working together. It takes a village, just like, they say that about motherhood all the time. It takes a village.
Right.
And, for us to be able to do the production that we do, having that support, and especially working with people you trust, is so important.
Yeah. What do you think has been super helpful in addition to having each other to lean on? Obviously, it helps you be able to take on more files, but what else do you attribute to being able to get things done smoothly and, keep growing and expanding without sacrificing on service?
I just think the communication is the most important thing. I think if you are straightforward every step of the way, you don't run into those hiccups. Like being, brave enough to have the tough conversations when they need to happen rather than trying to fix it in the background. I think a lot of people get into that where they're like, "Oh no, I don't want the agent to know that this is happening, or I don't want the client to know that we hit a snafu." And so us just being open and honest about everything, that way everybody's on the same page. We're all working together. There's a lot less scrambling that way.
Yeah, I think people really appreciate transparency more than anything. I mean, I feel like any agent knows that there are certain things and times when things come up that are unforeseen or out of your control, or there's just a lot going on. But if you're upfront about it versus them, finding out about it in the 11th hour, I feel like everyone would appreciate that versus the other scenario. So,
Nobody likes surprises. Nobody likes
yeah,
surprises, especially, when you're talking
exactly.
about someone's home and their money and, agents' commissions and things like that. Nobody wants to stress about that. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
important, like you said, to have the transparency there.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like your strengths are definitely communication, having a full team to be well rounded. What else do you think sets you guys apart in working with, real estate agents and their buyers?
I think our knowledge on a vast amount of products is really important. We do all kinds of unconventional financing, and we always say if you're working with a lender already, and you don't want to give us a shot, like if your lender can't do it, try us out. Like we'll figure it out. So, I just think our vast knowledge on all the different products that are out there is really great. CMG itself just has so many different options and investors and ways that we can get around tricky situations. And I mean, other than that, we like to have fun. We love hosting events. We've got a kickball picnic party thing that we're doing with a bunch of agents this weekend. So we just like to, get out there and be social and have it not be that business relationship. Obviously there's professionalism and everything like that involved, but you got to make
Right.
it fun. You got to have connections and enjoy people you work with that, you don't see every day. Agents are out running around like crazy. So if we can get together every once in a while and just, have that camaraderie is I think is really important as well.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think some of the hardest parts of your role as a loan officer are?
Um,
Well, business development manager, but on the lending side.
on the loan side, I think setting expectations is a hard thing, especially working with like a first time home buyer or anything like that. Like but just being very clear, like, yes, you can get there or you're not there yet, and um, just making sure that people understand what they're getting into and everything that goes along with it, and um, that I think is the toughest part. You want everyone to live in that $1 million castle on a hill, but it's not realistic for everybody. But we do really try and work with people, and if they want to get to that point, coaching them on how to get there is really important to us. But yeah, that I think
Yeah.
that would be the toughest one.
Yeah, yeah, you don't always have good news, at least up front, to share,
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
yeah. What if someone is struggling from, like, a credit perspective? Do you have, like, a game plan that you can help them from that perspective to get it where it needs to be?
Yeah, absolutely. We have this whole credit simulator that we can play around with. We can do a soft credit check and then pull, if we paid this one down, I know a lot of like those apps and stuff, you can do that. We can do that on a bigger scale with the bureaus directly saying, if you pay this off, your score is going to go here. And if we need a little bit higher, but we're also happy to get on any kind of three-way call with the credit companies and see if there's any way we could, delete lates. We're a team. So we try and work with our borrowers, before they become our borrowers to get them ready to start that home buying process.
Yeah. Do
Mhm.
you think that's one of the biggest hurdles for some buyers is just, like, getting over the fear of having that initial conversation to even find out where they stand in the first place?
You took the words literally right out of my mouth. I was going to say the fear of, like I said, if you're looking on an app and you see your score is, not where you think it needs to be. But a lot of people also don't understand, you don't need a 700 credit score to buy a house. You can go down as low as 580, and there are hurdles and things that you need to get past, like little tricky points. But I think a lot of people think you need 20% down and you need a 720 credit score. And so just like the education behind what you can qualify for and what you can afford, I think is really important to know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what else do you think is one of your forms of generating business? Are you guys leveraging social media at all, or is it all more so like in person generating relationships face to
A
face?
lot of in-person stuff. I personally, I love going to open houses. I mean, before I even got into the business development role, it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. So I love going to open houses, bringing business cards. We have a real estate agent lender packet that I like to bring, and it just shows just like common questions that potential buyers can ask at open houses. So it's like a little cheat sheet that I like to share and just meet people face to face. It's easy to send an email and saying, oh, you should work with me or get to know my team. And, it doesn't gain as much traction as being face to face and seeing someone and shaking their hand and, having a conversation. And I feel like it's easier to do that in person than it is to do on social media. I know a lot of people that have amazing success with social media, and I wish I was a little bit. Honestly, wish I was better at that. But I am definitely a face-to-face kind of person.
It's the old school way, right? I think people appreciate that. So, and I mean, agents, especially female agents hosting open houses, I'm sure really appreciate having someone else there. Just camaraderie, someone to talk to if there's downtime in the open house. I'm sure that goes a long way with,
Yeah.
building those
A little bit,
relationships. So,
and obviously if, a buyer walks in, I'm like, I'm out of here. I'll let you go do your thing. But I do have girls at open houses with, and if they do have buyers that come through, I can run numbers for them right there. So like pre-scheduling, sitting an open house with one of our agent partners is something that we do as well.
yeah, yeah. Well, anything else that you want to highlight about you guys that you think, sets you apart, or that you think you're a good fit for buyers out there? Anything else we didn't touch on today that you want to mention?
I feel like we covered a lot. Just, if people are looking for that extra personal touch, I know like we do have a big team and we do a lot of volume, but we try our best to make every single client feel individualized. And no one is better than anyone. No amount, loan amount or purchase price or anything, that doesn't matter to us. We're a community, and we all live in the same state. We all live in the same country. We want everybody to feel like they're getting the same level of service, whether they're buying $100,000 house or a $10 million house. And we pride ourselves on the fact that that's how we operate, and that's how we've always operated. It's a
Yeah.
sales business. You start small and then you get big, and maintaining that start small mentality, I really think is so important, instead of saying, oh, we can have this person and this person handle it. Like, no, Jessica likes to make those calls and have those conversations and stay in front of every single client. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I have said almost the exact same words myself, so I love that so much. Got to remember where you came from, you know?
Absolutely, 100%, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will make sure we tag all of the things so people can find you if they'd like to work with you, whether they are a real estate agent and they need another lender to be able to refer their buyers to that they know they can count on and trust, or if they are a buyer that is looking to shop, getting pre-approved and things like that. We'll make sure that all of your information is connected here so they can find you. But I know you have to be in. Yes, absolutely. And I know you have to be incredibly busy with everything you ladies have going on. So I appreciate you taking the time to chat today. It was super fun. So I appreciate it, Dayna. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
Hey, y'all. If today's episode brought you value, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps ladies in real estate find these conversations. And if you're ready to grow your real estate business with smoother transactions and a trusted partner in your corner, shoot me a message or follow below. I'd love to be your homegirl too.